What's going on, my trainer club? The Go Battle League has come back, so we are going to check out the top 25 best Pokemon in Great League to help you set up your teams for success. So welcome to the trainer club. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Let me know in the comments below, have you fought in the Go Battle League? What do you think about the system so far? Because I did some testing today and I actually really liked it. I think it's a pretty cool, unique, fun way to interact with Pokemon, and they have moved the battle all the way from the bottom right corner into that top right menu section. So that's where all of the battling is going to take place, whether that be battle with a friend, whether that be battle against a team leader, or whether that be battle in the new Go Battle League. So I actually really like this system. It's pretty fun. It's really quick. I went through and did all 5 of my Go battles and I actually won all 5 of them, fortunately. So today I really wanted to come with you guys and just give you the top 25 Pokemon that are going to be the most effective in Great League. So if you do want to go beyond this, I will pin it in the comments below. PvPoke.com is a great resource for you guys to check out. They have a ton of information as far as the PvP goes. You can check out what the top Pokemon in the leagues are, because some of you guys may be new to PvP or you haven't done so before. So you may pick some things like legendary Pokemon. And typically legendary Pokemon are good as far as the meta attackers in the game. However, we're now in the Great League season right now. So using one of these Pokemon in the Great League, if you're not using it properly, you're going to be at an extreme disadvantage, because these Pokemon that are in here are really maxed out with their health. Yes, legendaries are powerful. However, most of the time, utilizing them in the Ultra and Master League is going to be the best case scenario. So right now we are going to look at the top 25 Pokemon in the Great League. Then I'm going to give you 3 team setups that are pretty effective that I think would do you guys wonders if you don't know much about PvP. But before we get into it, I want to give you guys 2 quick strategies. Number 1 is to use Pokemon that are very meta relevant, meaning you are going to use the top 12 Pokemon because they are very powerful in the Great League. The other thing you can do is go ahead and use Pokemon that you suspect to counter these Pokemon in the Great League, because you foresee people using the top 12 or 25 or whatever Pokemon. So you're like, okay, I'm going to go with the counters for these Pokemon because of this. Granted, I wouldn't go and bring in weak Pokemon. However, using effective counters would be something to utilize, because a lot of people may be using some of these top Pokemon in the Great League. So here we go, top 25 Pokemon starting right now. The number 1 Pokemon ranked in the Great League is going to be Altaria. So Altaria is going to have the movesets of Dragon Breath, which is a very deadly move. It definitely does a lot of damage to a lot of Pokemon. It charges moves relatively fast with combination of Sky Attack as well as Dragon Pulse. The one thing I am going to note about Altaria, I did use it in the Fusion Cup, and for me personally, I kind of like to have 1 or 2 Pokemon that are a little bit more spammy, meaning they charge their moves faster. When I was utilizing Altaria, it did seem, and I know Dragon Breath is a really powerful move, so it does do damage, but the moves charge a little bit slower. So you're really going to have to decide, do you want Pokemon that are going to be a little bit more tanky, but then you have to worry about the 2 shields, right? Because if it takes a decent amount of time to charge Altaria's moves, and that's not even the longest move charge, and then you go ahead and use it and they have 2 shields left, they're able to shield one and then take down the Altaria, that's slightly a problem. Or do you want Pokemon that are a little bit more spammy, which we'll talk about in a second, that are able to charge their specials very fast and are able to get them off rapidly, which when I'm playing, that feels like that's the best option for me in my strategy. And as far as Altaria, it's going to be double weak to ice, so you're going to need to look out for the ice moves, and it is going to double resist grass and ground because it's flying and dragon combination. And it's also got some other weaknesses, so you're definitely going to have to play with it and start to learn what it's going to be good at and what it's going to resist as far as the moves go. And then in rank number 2, we have Registeel with the Lock-On, Flash Cannon, and Focus Blast. So this Pokemon is very tanky, and it's definitely a Pokemon that you would probably trade for to try to get the stats as far as the attack goes a little bit lower to put in this league. Registeel is going to have 3 weaknesses of ground, fire, and fighting, all single, and then it's going to double resist poison. So it's actually a pretty powerful Pokemon as far as the resistances go in comparison to the weaknesses, and that's really something you want to look at when battling. Next, in the 3rd spot, we have the Azumarill. Azumarill is an absolutely dominant Pokemon, and the recommended moveset is going to be Bubble, Play Rough, as well as Hydro Pump. However, I do like Ice Beam on this Pokemon. Even though the Play Rough does counter a lot of the Ice Beams, it charges very rapidly. So this is something that you have to weigh into account and take into account. The Hydro Pump is going to take a little bit more to charge. However, it's going to do a lot more damage, and it's going to be stab effective. So you have to take into account. The Play Rough is going to get stabbed, and the Hydro Pump is going to get stabbed. So it depends what you're playing with, but Hydro Pump may be a great option for you as well. You just have to take it into account. It is going to be single weak to Poison Poison, Grass, and Electric. And the beauty of this Pokemon is that it's going to double resist Dragon. So this is going to be an Altaria Slayer. This is going to be an amazing Pokemon for this. It's going to come up big. It's going to be very tanky. It's going to sit in there a while. So it's definitely a Pokemon that you may consider using on your team. And next we have the Deoxys in the defense form. It's going to have Counter, Psycho Boost, and Rock Slide. So this is a very, very tanky Pokemon. It's very fun to play with, and it does charge the moves semi-decently fast. So it's definitely a Pokemon to look out for. So the weaknesses are going to include Ghost, Dark, and Bug. So you definitely want to be out there and check it out, but it's definitely a good Pokemon to use Psychic moves against, as like the Venusaur. So it's definitely a Pokemon that does have very effective uses. And then rank 5 is going to be a little bit more rare of the Pokemon, but since it was at Montreal, you potentially do have some access to it. It's going to be Tropius with the Air Slash, Leaf Blade, and Aerial Ace. So this is going to be the ranked number 5 Pokemon. This Pokemon is going to be double weak to ice, so the Azumarill would be a great counter if it has the Ice Beam. And then it's going to be triple resistant to ground and then double resistant to grass. So it's definitely a powerful Pokemon for some of the other ground type Pokemon that use the Mud Shot frequently to charge their moves fast. And then in the 6th spot, we have the Hitmontop. Hitmontop as a spawn is super rare. So if you want to get a Hitmontop and you just hatched a Tyrogue, the defense has to be the highest stat, and then you can go ahead and evolve it if the defense is the highest stat, which will then take the Tyrogue into the Hitmontop. And then after that, you're going to want to trade it with somebody, preferably somebody low on the friends list, so that you can get it boosted in the right stat distribution. It's going to be weak, single weak to Psychic, Flying, and Fairy. So it's definitely a Pokemon. Counter is one of those moves that charge very fast, and it's very fun to play with. And then sitting in the 7th spot, we have the Alolan Marowak. So this Pokemon is going to be pretty unique. It has Fire Spin as the quick move, it's going to have Shadow Ball, and then it's going to have Bone Club. So unfortunately it doesn't get the fire move as far as like good fire move for a fast move, so going against something like a Venusaur may not be as effective as you once thought it could be. However, it is going to double resist Bug, Normal, and Fighting, so it's definitely effective in that manner, and it comes through with Shadow Ball, which is a really effective moveset to be able to hit some of the other Pokemon that are weak to the Ghost. And then next we have the Heracross with the Counter, Close Combat, and Mega Horn, and unfortunately the Heracross is going to be double weak to Flying. So this Pokemon would definitely not be a Pokemon you're going to be using if an Altaria comes out. And then in the 9th spot we have the Skarmory with the Air Slash, with the Sky Attack, and the Flash Cannon. This Pokemon is going to be really effective because it's going to be double resistant to Grass, Poison, and Bug. And it's only going to have 2 weaknesses of Fire and Electric, so it's going to be effective in that manner. And then in the 10th spot, we have the Zweilous with the Dragon Breath, the Body Slam, and the Dark Pulse combination. This is a Pokemon that gets off specials extremely fast with that Dragon Breath Body Slam combination, so it's definitely going to be a Pokemon to utilize to waste shields and really come up big. So this Pokemon is going to be double weak to Fairy, so utilizing the Azumarill with the Play Rough would be a great combination right here, and it's going to double resist on Psychic. As for the top 10, I really wanted to give you guys the counter breakdowns. If you want to see more things about what the weaknesses and the strengths of the Pokemon are, I will pin it in the comments below on PokemonGoHub.net. Great place to check out the database. But now we're going to go through the 11 through 25 in a quicker manner so we don't have to go through every single weakness. So then I can then get you guys to the team setup that I recommend. In the 11th spot, we have Hariyama, Counter, Close Combat, and Heavy Slam. In the 12th spot, we have Bastiodon with the Smackdown, Stone Edge, and Flamethrower. In the 13th spot, we have Machamp, Counter, Cross Chop, and Rock Slide. I really like that Rock Slide move in there. Really brings a different dynamic to Machamp. Then we have Primeape, Counter, Night Slash, and Close Combat. And then in the 15th spot, we have the Venusaur. Really like the Venusaur. Vine Whip, Frenzy Plant, which is the Community Day move, and the Sludge Bomb. And then coming in the 16th spot, we have Swampert, Mud Shot. We have the Hydro Cannon and the Earthquake. Then we have Mantine, Bubble, Bubble Beam, Ice Beam. We have Mew, which is probably going to take a decent amount of TMs to try to get these movesets. It's going to be Shadow Claw, Overheat, and Psyshock. So if you do want to go after that, you can. Then we have Medicham, Counter, Dynamic Punch, and Ice Punch. Then we have Jirachi, once again will take you a decent amount to get these moves of Confusion, Doom Desire, and Psychic. Then we have Regice, Lock On, Earthquake, and Blizzard. That one's going to charge a little bit slower. Then we have Cresselia, Psycho Cut, Future Sight, and Moonblast. And then we have Hypno, Confusion, Shadow Ball, Thunder Punch. Then we have Wishcash, Mud Shot, Mud Bomb, and Blizzard. And then we have Regirock with the Lock On, Stone Edge, and Focus Blast. So if you guys do want to check out any more, pvpoke.com would be a great place for you guys to utilize. So now we're going to move into the top teams. I'm going to give you 3 of them. So there's definitely no such thing as like a top team overall. It's all how you play these Pokemon. It's how you're able to utilize some of the strategy behind it. And it's definitely something you want to check out. So as far as one of the teams that I've heard, and thank you to They Call Me Jake, if you do want to check him out on his YouTube channel, I will pin it in the comments below. He's been helping me out, trying to learn some of the dynamics of PvP. Really appreciate him. It is going to be the Altaria, Azumarill, and Registeel. So if you do use the combination of these Pokemon, it's definitely going to be type coverage. Unless somebody really knows what they're doing, it's going to be pretty hard. So if you're going up against a mediocre player, which sometimes we will, it's going to be a pretty easy matchup. And you do want to have the second charge moves on these Pokemon. Ideally, they would be in a pretty good PvP type stats as well, with a lower attack and higher on the defense and stamina. Next team that I'm going to give you guys is going to be Wishcash, Hypno, and Skarmory. So the one thing you do have to realize about Hypno, using Confusion, it's a very slow type move. So using Bronzong or anything like that, that move really hits very slowly and it takes a long time to regenerate before you can do it again. However, it does charge specials fast. It's just a little bit clunky, but with it having the Shadow Ball and the Hypno, it's going to bring in some other type coverages that's going to be pretty effective. And the final team that I like is going to be Azumarill, Venusaur, and Medicham. The reason why I like this team is because all these Pokemon hit pretty rapidly. They're all relatively spammy and they have a good amount of type coverage in there, so they are pretty effective, and it's really good at wasting shields, because if you keep getting hit with specials, you know, initially a lot of people are like, I gotta shield the first special. But once you start to learn the play, you learn what Pokemon you're going against, what their specials are going to be. Like I faced up against a Lapras. I thought that it may potentially hit me with an ice move when I was using a Wishcash, but it ended up having Surf, and I saw that because the person that was using it was using Water Gun, and I knew that Water Gun in there probably doesn't have an ice move in combination with that, and they could potentially just be using Surf. I guessed right, and then I was able to get it. So it's going to be a guessing game, feeling out your opponent and seeing what Pokemon they present themselves with, and then you can go ahead and go from there. The one thing you do have to realize, if you switch Pokemon, there's going to be a 30-second window where you can't switch again. So the #1 goal is to get off a good lead Pokemon and get the advantage with the lead. So either they have to switch, which then puts them at a lock disadvantage, because then you can switch and have a counter for them, or you're able to just go ahead and weather the storm and have a spammy type Pokemon. So thank you to all my likers, commenters, subscribers, and Patreon members for taking their subscriptions to the next level. I'm gonna see you out on that next video. Peace! I just want to take a moment and sincerely thank all of my Patreon members, everybody that has taken their subscription to the next level and chosen to support me on this platform. I greatly appreciate you guys. As a growing channel and really trying to grow and improve as much as I possibly can, I really appreciate the extra support. You guys mean the absolute world to me. I cannot wait to connect with you soon, and I appreciate you guys all for being a part of the Trainer Club. I will see you guys out on the next video.